Hello, darlings. It has been, well, just, I guess, a week since you heard my voice last, or yesterday, or today. And if you're not listening, you should be listening. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Artist Within podcast. I am your host for this season 1, The Road to Resilience. My name is Adela Hittel, and this podcast is produced by Project Human. Think a new way to think. I'm losing my brain to think today too, but I'm so excited for somebody who's going to help me process a whole lot today too. Somebody who started working with Project Human a little while ago on a project called Checkmate, and she is not only a phenomenal actress because I just got to see her in a short film last night at the Sunray Cinema at our last big screening that we had before they shut it down because, you know, our city loves to keep all of our art alive. So we saw this place and you know, we saw this film and I saw her and first saw this was in her scary film. I really don't remember what the film is, so she'll have to remind me, but she was just and it was great. And then I've known she's acted in different things. She did a modeling project for me too. And when she did Checkmate and when we did this idea of this project, I really kind of got to know a little bit of an essence of her. Her name is Rose Sanchez. And not only, like I said, is she a model, an actress, a mother, but she is a creative, an entrepreneur. She is a business owner. She is also the owner and founder of Press Play Cinema, which was formerly here Jacksonville known as Locally. And I can't wait for her to share her story and share with you all the little details about how she got to here, where she's at now, and what her goals and plans are with the Press Play Cinema Festival that's coming up too. So we'll share about that. So without any further ado and me messing up this introduction more, let me introduce to you guys my dear friend, Rose Sanchez. Hello, love. Welcome to the Artist Within podcast. I am so excited to have you here. And please take a second and give us a good intro and a bio to who you are and what you do.
No problem. Well, thank you everyone for having me. My name is Rose Sanchez. I'm the CEO for Press Play Cinema. And before I start, I do want to say thank you so much for this platform. Thank you for what you're doing and this creative process, that it's not just expanding the voices of artists, but also it's encouraging them in their creativity process. So thank you so much, Adela, for doing this.
Thank you for those kind words.
You're welcome. I really love when people really feel passionate about art and about creating. It's something that I feel it's one of our God-given skills, you know, to create things. So I really admire people that dare to inspire. So that being said, Press Play Cinema started as Locally in Jacksonville, Florida, because that was my community where I was living and I was working actively as an actress. And I saw that there was a bit of discrepancies when it comes to, well, I'm gonna say it because it happens everywhere. There was favoritism, there was a lot of competition mindset instead of growing and co-working vibes. And I was like, okay, I feel like this is my opportunity to bring an initiative in which people can use it as an excuse to be like, oh, we don't really have to compete here. We can just work together and create something amazing. And whoever likes it can join us and we can continue to create some other more amazing things. So that was the initial drive. Like, I really want to eliminate the competition and the favoritism thing. I really want everyone to see the artist within, just like your podcast, and actually bring it forth. Because
we'll bring the community together, because that's part of something we lack, right? Is it's what everybody is literally seeking right now is the community involvement, and yet we're all in an individual level of identity. It's I versus a community identity. So, you know, right. It's very much an underappreciated form of art. So, yeah.
Well, I tell everyone, you know, don't worry about the money. Yeah, you have to pay the bills. So I do not judge you for doing anything that has you paying your bills and taking care of your family. But when we only focus on the thirst of the money, we lose track of the actual creative process and the actual messages that you have the opportunity to spread into the masses. And I believe that if we found a balance between the both, making money and at the same time daring to inspire, we can actually connect with that audience that are, just with urge of finding new entertainment that actually makes them feel things. And the more we inspire them, the more they come back to watch, the more money you make. But at the end of the day, I do not want to make it about the money, because the money, it's something that will come if the intention is good and the process it's fluid. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm more worried about the messages that we are putting into the masses. Like, we really want to make sure we are spreading kindness. We are also spreading positivity, encouragement, and inspiring others, basically. So yeah, Flocally was amazing. It served its purpose in Orlando, in Jacksonville, Florida, but it was made for the Florida locals. So Orlando, Kissimmee, Tampa, all of those good stuff, all of those good cities over there were all together into Flocally, and we made, I think, two or no, two. Was it two? Yeah, two online film festivals for locally. Unfortunately, a lot of the support did not come mostly from the Florida locals, which was kind of disheartening because I really wanted to make that movement for
Well,
them.
I have a question
Uh,
on that really quick. Why do you
sure.
think that and for those of you who are listening and for those of you who are watching, but Rose now is no longer in Florida. She's currently in Michigan. And why do you think, and could you maybe compare the difference of the two? I'm sure there's a difference in the volume or in the amount of people we have and the amount of people Michigan has and all of that stuff. But why do you think our support system while you were here was not what you had hoped it would be? And do you see it changing here for where you're at? And how does that differ from the support system that you're in now, or is it similar to? And why do you think the lack of it is there for what we're doing?
Yeah, that's a fair question. One of the things that really discouraged me a little bit, like I started in the very beginning, there's a lot of favoritism and competition. So people are very hesitant to try new things. So it did had that little success. That's why I said it served its purpose while it lasted, because the people that knew me and knew my intention and knew my drive as an artist knew that I had the best intention for them. So they followed up and they worked with me and we did amazing stuff. But when I say not most of the support, I'm not saying that they didn't want to support. Maybe they didn't know enough about it. Maybe they were busy with their own lives. Who knows? Like, I don't really point fingers at anything. There's a lot of different circumstances that can happen in life, but most of the support came from out of the state.
Hmm.
Now, I don't want to shut down the dream that I have envisioned for my Floridians. So I said, what would be fair to do in this situation? Because although I didn't get the support that I needed, I don't think that they're completely responsible for it. There's a lot of
Right.
things going on when it comes to making a business, marketing, promotions, and stuff like that. So I don't really point fingers. But I said, how can I make this ambiguous for everybody else to support, not just Floridians in case they don't catch up on time, but without excluding them? Because I don't want them to feel like I feel some type of resentment because they didn't support me. No, it doesn't work like that. This is about inspiring others. So I didn't take it personal. What I did was I brainstormed over a label that people will feel comfortable and welcomed with. So I know that by the time I brainstormed that, people started to put press play, hashtag press play in their videos or their stuff. And I was like, well, that is interesting, because although it sounds very normal, it sounds very common, think about it. This is a word that you use almost every day. First and second, I do want to play in the psychology of it. Whenever you say press play, I want my logo to
Yes.
appear in your mind. Like, oh, yeah, I'm not really talking about the company, but it's still there. So maybe later on, I'll just swing by and watch some short films, like
Right.
it's about the psychology and everything. So I made it Press Play Cinema because there is already a company called Press Play. So I was like, okay, Press Play Cinema will make it more direct. This is for movies. This is to play movies. So we redesigned the whole website from flocally.vip to pressplayhere.com. In pressplayhere.com, there is a lot of short films, international, from China, from Australia, from Africa, from the United States. And it's so beautiful. I really sometimes sit down in the website and I be trilling with myself. It's like, I can't believe I united all these people together. And I'm watching all these different countries and all these different stories from countries, depending on the perspective of how they see life.
Right.
It's like magic. So I really love it.
Well, you should
And
congratulate
that's
yourself
pretty
too.
much,
You should
what was
congratulate
that
yourself.
again?
I said I was going to pause here for a second. You should congratulate yourself on just that statement of what you did. You said you wanted to bring community together. You wanted to bring unity to cinema, to film, to art, to creativity. And just because one avenue or one space, place, and time didn't work at the level and scale that we imagine in our own heads, and I say that imagine in our own heads because we don't, when we're imagining, we don't have limitations to what real life and reality can put upon and place upon us.
Yep.
And being able to work around those, through those, and use our God-given gift, honestly, to like think through, process something, and create something out of something different or nothing that can influence and bring together a community of artists now that you say
Yeah.
can share these stories, can be part of that, which I'm intrigued, right? Like I haven't gotten a chance to watch them, but I went through the website and I've seen it and it's fantastic. So for those of you who have not been on, please go check out Press Play Here or pressplayhere.com. It really is there is a beautiful collection of things that you can find. And again, this also goes to show that through time and time again, perseverance and resilience, commitment to the self, determination, follow through, whether you're right or wrong about it. Yeah, you get to do it. And again, we don't give ourselves that credit that this, and when I say that for you right now personally, it's give that congratulations, and I gave that congratulations. We talk about we don't give flowers to people. We don't have to worry about when they make it to the big screen of stuff. It's those small accomplishments that also deserve a flower or two here because they give that encouragement and that fuel to keep going. It's like you can make a bouquet at the end. You don't need the full bouquet right now, but those small little flowers and pieces that we put through for people, they get to create the bouquet they want. Like, it's not our job to say this is the bouquet of your life. But like, if I see that you're a rose today and maybe you get a lily tomorrow, and what an eclectic piece can you come up with?
Listen, I have ADD, so I know how to receive compliments in Facebook, but in person, I'm still struggle to receive compliments because I'm very hard on myself. Like I don't like making a big celebration out of something that I know in my mind is still not done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's too early for that. No, keep going, and people be like, "Congratulations, you're doing amazing." It's like, this is not even half of my
girl,
power.
believe you me, I'm here. You told me congratulations. I'm just learning to shut my mouth now and not say anything in return and accept what God's given in those compliments, because here's the thing, right? In our own minds, when we're that hard on ourselves, it just means we want to succeed at a level that we are not happy with and we're not comfortable with. What it also means is that we're striving for something better and more that's not mediocre. But that doesn't mean that we need to not recognize the accomplishments and not bask in that, because guess what? majority of those around you within your 6 feet in your world have not even come close to what you've accomplished. And I say this from a personal perspective too. Right. And we don't, nobody knows the struggles we go through every day, right? Nobody knows every single moment of our day, the things that we have to do, the dates we forget, the times we forget, the when we're late, when we forget our kid, when we forget this because it happens, we're like, it just, you don't know the struggle of a being and how they process. So when they can achieve something that has sustainability and structure and has coherence and clarity and a message of inspiration and something that unifies and brings communities together and can create conversation, can do things that are beyond our just imagination, as I call it, the common folk people, because that's where we're at, right? Like, and when we can do that, that's a huge accomplishment. And those kudos should be given again, when not just when the whole world knows, but when no one's watching. Because who gives you those flowers when no one's watching? Who's saying, right? Just you can give yourself shit all day long when everyone's
Honestly,
listening and everyone's watching. But
the
who
only
gives you
compliment
that?
I've been able to receive without any type of like, no, like, no, like, I get
Yeah.
shy, or I get like, no, it's not enough. I'm not done. Don't say anything yet. My kids have been an amazing support, especially my daughter. My daughter will sit down next to me and see what I'm doing in the computer and say, oh, that's for press play cinema. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, wow, that looks really cool. You're doing so great, mom. And having that little voice, it's just because it's pure, it's innocent and it's genuine. Like they're not
Yes.
saying it because they want to be good on your good side. They saying it because they actually think of it. And that's probably the only compliment that I've been like, oh, thank you.
So my recommendation to you is to take that compliment the way they say it, and teach yourself that as a voice inside, because
So that is
it's yeah, that pat on the back. And it's because, again, think about it, you're alone in the world of what you're creating in your mind. And as someone who is in here again, everybody's like, oh my god, the podcast is I can't, again, we're finally here. I've talked about this for how many years? For real, like I've talked about this for probably 4 years now. I'm doing a podcast. It's happening. And but I'm also that human that how hard are you on yourself to achieve something, right? And for me, during those years, I knew I wanted to do it, but I was shit. I was terrible. I could never. Oh my gosh, I can't stand to hear myself. I can't stand to see myself. I can't. Right. But that's the voice that's been taught to us 1,001 times through social constructs, through narratives from everybody, from people within our 40 inches, from people within our 6 feet, and especially the world now. So this idea of teaching our own voice to be a kinder voice to us, to our own selves, more empathetic and more compassionate, will also allow us and teach us that genuinity of what the child has. Again, they're the best children. I mean, the reason why Artists Within and Project Human and everything is the way it is because I don't want to disappoint the one person that is genuine the most in what I do, that has no doubt in my ability to succeed, right? That has no qualms about my crazy self and accepts all of it. And that goes down to your kid, right? If you have that relationship with them. Um, and it also teaches you discipline. It teaches you commitment. It teaches you that you can't just say these words. You actually have to follow through and act upon it, be responsible and accountable for them. So again, you are doing so much better than you give yourself credit for just through that thought of alone. And it's
Thank you very much.
and as you and I do want, again, I'm a whole hard believer, if I feel it, if I see it in the truth of that, like if I think someone's beautiful, or if I think someone did a great job, we don't share what we're so good at pointing out all the bad all the time, again, to ourselves, to everybody.
Yeah, and another thing, I'm very I'm okay. It's like I'm okay receiving your compliment, and I'll tell you why, because I've seen how hard you work on your stuff, and I've seen how much effort, passion, and determination you put in your vision. And the fact that you saw something great in what I was doing, knowing that I've seen all that you've done for your own vision, it's like it's like one entrepreneur to another entrepreneur. You're doing a great job. I see you,
Well,
girl.
it
It's like,
should
yeah, girl,
be
I see you
right,
too.
right. That community because we don't have that. We don't have that. And I mean, we talk about how we have to build all these like again labels versus just a human support system. We talk about having mom groups and having film groups and whatever groups, friend groups, bar groups, whatever groups you want to have. We don't have a good human support group where we just support humans for their existence today and for where they're at and how far they made it. Man, some of us could just get out of bed today and brush our teeth. Some of us could literally make breakfast and go back to bed because that was our day. That's for today. And I speak from experience because that was my life for a long time. Now I'm like, this morning, I was almost so mad at myself for not going on my run because I didn't feel good about it. Like, I didn't feel good. I was like, I don't feel like running. And I'm laying there and I got mad at myself for not running. I gotta go on a run. So then I went on a run because breaking your word to yourself is just so devastating, and we do that all the time. And when we yeah, right, and we say we're going to be kind to ourselves, or we're going to show more grace, we're going to show compassion. Well, we don't. We just instantly will go, I'm just a shithead for that, and it's not. You're not. You just do the act, move forward, and that's again what we're proving through. That's what entrepreneurship teaches you is if you have the grit, if you have the determination, the passion for it, you will not stop until you achieve what is already done. Like, that's the part of what people don't understand when we speak words, right? I say this at every podcast. We speak words that we don't understand, but the word is the most powerful word you can say. And when you say, this will happen, I will do, it is done, the actions, the behaviors is your free will and your free choice to make that happen. Like, and we take such light value in that, right? And in the power we hold in that. And so again, the fact that you're proving that you're doing this and stepping out, regardless of what someone's thinking, regardless of what people say, even though we cry on our own time sometimes. And I just had my cry session literally a couple of days ago.
Sometimes, and let me get that straight. Sometimes it's not even because of sadness or frustration. It's just so much stress, so much
Overwhelmed.
work, and you just need to vent. And it's not even venting, talking. It's like you need to
Just
scream, let it all out.
your
Okay,
little child tantrum.
pardon me.
Accept the child within, okay? Just like you have this artist that's creating you, accept that little child that's having a tantrum, have that tantrum, give it that love and space, the time that you need it, and then pick it up and make it work. And we talk about doing that for other people again, but we don't do it for ourselves. And I think that's what film and art teaches us. And I wanted to ask you about that. Like, you said in one of your answers that art is an international language and a way to connect at heart through passion of creation. I love that because I'd like for you to elaborate on what art and what creating not only just your business but your projects, your films. As I mentioned, you've acted and you still act, but what has that done for your being, for the building and the structure of your human right now, and creating this stable, mental health space, spiritual space, emotional space for yourself and your family?
Well, there's something that there's not something. There's a lot of things that people still don't know about me. I'm somewhat conservative. I'm very private of my personal things. I've been through so much, and not even completely in the bad light. More like I've been through a lot of connections in which people didn't value what I had to offer, the words that I had to vent or speak on. And so little by little, I started to be a little more preserved. When I'm with film enthusiasts, I'm in my comfort zone. I am free to say or do whatever. I do have a little discernment because still I do like to keep my private life as private as possible. But to answer your question, Something that people really don't know about me is that I am a sucker for knowledge. I dive into books. I learn about the human history, not just what happened with our wars, but also with our spirituality. I like to check on languages. I have this constant urge to understand who we are as beings, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't call myself a human, not because I'm not one, because I am, obviously,
No, we're God's
but I
creatures.
see us all as beings, because that's what we are.
Yes.
Human beings, animals are beings, trees are beings, although we don't really see them as people or whatnot,
But
but
they
they breathe.
breathe.
They breathe, they
They
move, they
breathe.
actually communicate through their roots to other parent trees, and to other neighbor trees. Like, it's so beautiful. And I have come to the conclusion that there should be a greater creator of all of this, because there is no way all of us are connected but disconnected at the same time, because we were all connected, but society made sure that we were disconnected so that we could use that currency
That
that
current.
ultimately ends up dividing us. But literally everything we need, it's already here. It's our resources to stay alive, they are free. And it's a little, sometimes I have this brainstorms, and I be like, am I in the right planet? Like,
Girl.
I don't feel that I fit
So
in this
I have a
planet.
saying. I have a saying. I've been saying this. I'm from the eighth black hole. We have not discovered, like, really the first one. They say, sure, it's there, okay? But, like, I've landed on Earth and I don't know what the fuck is going on. And now I just put up a tent. Okay, I have a tent and I got lighting and I got some food and, like, I got some clothes and I figured out some of the language. And then out of nowhere come dinosaurs. And I'm like, oh shit, how do you deal with this now? And then, like,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, okay, not dinosaurs, but now a world. Oh, okay, not that now. Oh, okay, now. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Oh my gosh, it's day one. It's day one. Like,
Oh my gosh. It's
that's
like
how
they
it.
put you in front of a with a lot of history and pictures
And it's
just going
like.
by. And they're like, okay, it's your turn, go. Oh,
Right, that's how
I
it
understand you
feels.
completely.
Right, that's how it feels. That's literally when we talk about the feeling versus reality. Okay, we know I live on Earth. I know I'm not in a tent. I know that, like, I'm good. Like, okay, I know my reality. What it feels like, though, and what my mind has created is this, like, insane 3D worldview right now where there's, like, multiple angles of cameras going on, and I'm in here going like, what, what? I don't know. Oh my god, did I say that? Oh, and, like, that's it. That's all the words that I can say. And what's beautiful
It's like when
about
you're in dreams and somebody jumps you, and you're
yes,
like fighting in slow motion, and you're talking normal in your dream. Like, why am I fighting
it's like,
so
what's happening to me, right?
slow? It's like, hey,
And
this is your world, but you can't control it. What?
right. So then once you figure that out, you go, okay, well, what can I control? Okay, well, I can control me. I can control what I'm, like you said, the thirst for knowledge. You can control what you are receiving in. You can control what you are taking in. And knowledge is food. It is a resource, you guys. It is such fuel for your whole being and your body and your cell. Like the power that you have within you to heal, to reformat, remap, reimagine, recreate your own being. Okay? Like that is the power within you that you have. if you decided that knowledge was the fuel that you wanted. And that knowledge can come through, as Rose just said, through learning about trees, learning how our ecosystem works, or learning about how humans function, learning about why the wars are happening, learning about just individual beings in your
Just to
40.
add to that thought,
Go ahead.
just to add to that thought that you just said right now, because something very important you just said, knowledge is something very important. There's a saying that says knowledge is power. Now, I do want to go because it's deeper than that. I'm not sure if you guys have, I'm, like I said, I'm a hunger for knowledge. Some of the knowledge I absorb is not necessarily good. um you guys, be have some discernment and choose what is good to keep on your repertoire. But now, I'm not sure if you know, but some people exchange um things in the black market and their currency. Do you know what the currency is?
No, I haven't looked at the black market.
Information.
Yeah, well, it's always been the currency,
So
though.
this
It's
is
always
something
been the
that I tell
currency.
people. Yeah, I always tell people that, listen, information, knowledge is very important for you. It helps you function as a human being with a consciousness, because we are the only beings that have a consciousness as broad as ours. So if we have that gift, use it to the best of your ability, use it to enhance the livelihood of others, be a blessing to others. If you're being blessed, be a blessing to others. But I can't stress that enough. Knowledge is very important, and I'm only saying that because we live in a time in Earth in which people are just making up stuff.
Oh no, I lost you. There she is. She's coming back, you guys. We're having a little technical issue. And if you can unmute yourself, I see you back. Knowledge is power, you guys.
Can you hear me well?
I can hear you now. You're coming back in. You're freezing up a little bit and going in and out.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, is it my voice going in and out?
Yep, you're freezing on your end and going in and out. Yep.
So
I can hear you now. Go
yeah, I'm
ahead.
not
So yeah,
understanding what's going on. Oh, let me see.
it's
Okay.
it's
So
this is what's
information is
happening.
something
What's
very
happening is you're
important.
sharing the true power and the secret of what's happening, and the government is trying to stop you from
I
sharing.
can't hear you. You sound.
Oh no!
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Wait, I can hear you. I can
I
hear you.
hello,
You
hello,
sound like you're
hello,
cutting off.
hello. You're
Is
hello.
it my
It's
internet? I
your
don't
end.
know.
Yeah, it's your end. Do you want to pop
Because
off and pop
right here
back
it
on
says
real
that I have
quick?
all my bars. You can hear me?
I can
Okay.
hear you. Yeah.
Um, uh,
We'll just move on from the information conversation because obviously the universe is saying that we shouldn't be talking
can
about
you
that
hear me?
right now. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Nope, you're gone again.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Is this the new Verizon commercial?
I don't know what happened. I'm like, what just happened right now? It's like it keeps lagging on my end, but I'm not sure because all. the internet is. Anyways, it's still recording, right?
Yeah, it's still recording. This is the part that I can pop in and out and edit. I'm not worried about that. I made a note of when to like do the pause part of that. Anyway, the point of all of this is that information is key. You need to know that, and we're gonna move on from that question because that was the question that the powers be are saying you should not be talking about. So we know what we're talking about, just so you guys know. Again, not to be conspiracy theorists or anything, because that's not who I am. Oh. However, I'm just saying what I'm saying. So anyway, on to the other part.
It's lagging again.
No. Oh, do you want to pop on and off real quick, and then off that Zoom and rejoin the Zoom call?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Now you're gone. Now she's gone. She's so gone.
I'm gonna try to join from my phone.
Okay, I'll be here.
It's maybe that. Can you hear me and see me?
I see you and hear you now. So go ahead and try to join from your phone, and then we'll try again. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you want to try it right now? Because I can.
Yeah,
hear
no,
you and
just
see
go.
you.
Whatever you want to do. I'm cool. Like I can.
Okay,
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about this part at all. So no, don't. No.
Oh, it's doing it good. It's doing it
I
good.
told you. Perfect. I know exactly why. It's because we were hitting the nerve. I know. So anyway. I said what I said. I say what I said. I said what I said. I said what I said, and you can go ahead and say, well, I said what I said. I'm in the land of the free America, and I said what I said, so come at me. Like, I don't care.
Let's move on from that.
Yes, so let's actually...
Arm yourself with information. Arm yourself with knowledge. Learn about the history of your own existence. Not just when the Romans came, not just World War II. Everything, it's essential. Everything is connected. So please educate yourself. That's all. I'm not going to say anything
now
else
we're done with that, right? Because obviously the internet is letting us now. So as an artist, okay, I want to ask you. You and I have we've shared this a couple of times, and I love that we've shared this. You and I had the opportunity to meet a couple of times prior to. Just by chance, and we never did because both of us had our reservations just because we're alphas. Like our instant ego alphas were like I don't know why, but I like her, but I don't like her. I like her, but I don't like her. At least that was my perspective, but I was ego driven back then anyway. So and then our dear friend AJ introduced us, who is a phenomenal actor, and he's kicking butt in LA right now, and they actually have a short that has been accepted in the LA.
AJ, congratulations over there.
Right. So congratulations to the team and everybody there. But what's fantastic is when he knew we were going to be friends. He knew we were going to do this, but you and I are both stubborn in the way we are. And so after we had this conversation, we're like, we both needed to grow. We both needed to go through some stuff so that we could have this, because otherwise we would have butted heads, and we would have allowed ourselves, at least in my perspective, for me, I would have allowed myself to not see the true. But that's the growth of learning and educating yourself and empowering yourself with knowledge about how you as a human can change, that accepting you for the power that you are, not as a threat, right? Or as a competition, or as something like we talked about, this diverse or this division that we have. And so I was like, okay, she is this powerhouse. She is strong. She is opinionated. She is stubborn. She is all the things I am. And that's why I may not like her, right? Okay, so that's my problem, not hers. Let me reframe what I'm doing and say, why don't I like myself when I'm stubborn? Why don't I like myself when I'm this? Because I'm challenging, or because I'm challenging the question, the idea, the status quo, what the whole thing is. Oh my gosh, I love that, because why would we not want to be around and surround ourselves with humans who challenge us, challenge our views, challenge our thinking, challenge our narrative, right? And I know that Checkmate, when we did Checkmate, I know it challenged my narrative in so much and changed so much of my perspective of a lot of stuff. And like that project not only shifted in the way I wanted to share my story and share everything, but in the way I wanted to approach working with humans and extending the opportunities. So what project did you have, whether it's one with us or yourself or however many, that have influenced and shaped your narrative and shifted, maybe even shifted your whole course in the way you're approaching, everything in who you are, whether that's here or in your new place or new position?
Well, I loved always being a actress. I started when I was in sixth grade. I think that was the tipping point. There was this theater play called Se nos trancó el desperoni, and there was 13 pages, and I knew everyone's lines, including mine. And the teacher could see me like like mumbling the lines of others. And she was like, I understand you're passionate about this, Rose, but you can't emulate words right when people are looking at y'all. Like it's supposed to look like it's something, like it's a
A
play, not
play.
like all fake. Like, oh, hello, come on. And I tone it down, but it was something that I was like, wait, this is something I feel passionate about. And I started there. That was where I was like, okay, I want to be an artist. And then the second time that actually kind of redetermined what I wanted to do with the industry was my first short. I made my first short in Jacksonville, Florida. It's called Pray. I did it with Fawn Bailey, Sid, and oh, I forgot. I think his name is Angel. Um, and yeah, it was more to bring awareness about human trafficking. And I actually impressed myself. Like I didn't think it was gonna be that good. Obviously, it's not amazing. Like compared to 4Ks and all this quality stuff, it's not like that. But it was more than what I envisioned in my mind. Like I
Mm-hmm.
actually impressed myself. I didn't think it was gonna look like that. I thought it was gonna look a little crappier.
Well, how
But
cool is
no,
it
it
though that you can impress yourself through something that, and
yeah.
again, it just goes to show how low bar of a low bar we set for our own selves when we think of an idea or create, and then we're like, oh shoot, we can do this.
Yep. And I saw that and I was like, wait, I can do this. I actually can do this. And the more I do, the more I learn, the more I gather experience, the more I sharpen my skills. But at the same time, the thing that it's there the most is make sure you're expanding goodness with your message. That's something that's always in the back of my head. Like it doesn't matter what I'm doing or what I'm up to. There's this voice that says, make sure you're giving something good to the
Mm-hmm.
masses. Make sure
Mm-hmm.
they can extract some lesson from this. Make sure you're actually adding to what's good, not to what's already damned.
Right.
And that's really my point. When I found that in myself, I was like, okay, I think I don't really care much about the quality and how the I don't really care much about the special effects and all this stuff. I really want people to learn more about themselves, more about the world, more about the magic of creation. I don't want them to just be a blob in the
Right.
TV, if that makes sense. I want them to gather information out of this. My last short film, it's called The First Date. The First Date was actually an inspiration over people that I've seen so many people talking like, oh, you can the pool, the dating pool in this era has pee in it. I
I've not
get
heard
it.
that.
I get it.
I've never heard that. Oh my gosh, I've never heard. I'm not in the dating pool. I've been off the market for 18 years. So I don't know what to say about that. But I've never.
Dating pool has pee in it
It has
now.
pee in it. Okay.
Hold on to your blessings, girl.
Oh, I am, girl. I got mine filtered, clean, all of it. My
But
like
yeah,
no.
I've heard so many people talking about how difficult to date in this time in era, this time in place, I said, what if I make a film about how to walk them through the process of really seeing this person within their personality, who they really are, if they actually are there to add and not take away from you. And some people told me, a few people actually got it, which actually gave me like, yes. Because when I make films, I don't make them for the sole purpose of entertaining, but for the purpose of also expanding knowledge and just more information for you. Arm yourself with information so that you can defend yourself in this world. So in the very beginning, some people was like, well, it was a little boring because there's a lot of dialogue. And it's like, well, when you're dating, what do you do to get to know this person? Do you just go to places and don't ask them about themselves?
Obviously, they don't
A
have a
little boring
dialogue.
part of the union is
I was
to
gonna
talk
say
and
they don't have a dialogue. I think
talk.
that's why the dating pool has a pee in it. There's no dialogue
Yeah,
about what should be cleaned out.
that was one of the reasons I was like, well,
Oh my
maybe
gosh.
that's acceptable, but I'm not gonna say that part out loud. I'm just gonna think it. Okay.
Oh, I said it.
But yeah, it is boring because the topics that you guys choose for your datings are not really questions of substance. And these questions that I have here in this short give you a little insight on who you really want to meet when you're getting out. Something like in some of the parts of the film, they start talking about religion. They start talking about past relationships. They start talking about friends, like how close are you with your friends, what do you do with your friends. Those are things that I've noticed that people kind of skip questions. They are afraid to learn who this person is because they are worried. No, they are married to the person they think they are already in their minds. And that's so wrong. I don't know. It's beautiful because you really want to expect the best out of everybody, which is beautiful. That's our beautiful nature. But know that not everybody is going to be like you. Not everybody is going to think like you, especially men and women. Although we are equal in power, we have different responsibilities in life.
That's
And you can trump one
no.
with another
Let's
because we're
yeah.
all
That's
in our different ways.
there is
We have our
when we
own
talk about again, as I go back into, as I say it on every time when these topics come up, there is human beings and we're having human conversations, but then within these
right.
beings there are
True.
two
My apologies
sexes
for
right now.
that.
Oh no, don't apologize, because I have a clear message that I like to really define where I stand, and I feel like most of us don't want to define that stance on that. I am for the human being, you as a human being. I accept in all shapes, forms, sizes, whatever it is, ideas, whatever it is that you come in as a human. But when it comes to what nature and what the creation of this is, there is two sexes, and there's a male and there's a female, and we both literally function and think differently. And when I've been married to the opposite sex for 18 years, and I can promise you there is not a part of us that thinks alike, not one bit, on how we process emotion, how we think about emotion, how we process spirituality, how we think about spirituality, how we process just the social construct, how we think about the social constructs, how we act upon it, how we respond to it. So that part is all that is proof in our existence that is the difference on us. The value and the worth of us is on an equal scale, and you as a human being need to be and should be required to be valued for yourself, for who you are, where you're at in all your shapes and forms in your existence. And we don't have that clarification of conversation because we want to have division, and we want to look at it from such a perspective of me against you versus no, I genuinely love you as a human being, and I respect for who you are and where you're at and what your thought is and all of you as a being. I really want you to respect me for it, and I'll fight for you to the death of it. Just don't define my narrative for what my narrative is. Right. Define yours for what yours is. This is my narrative, and let's bring these two books of a narrative together and see where we agree and where we disagree, and maybe we can have this conversation of going.
We all need each other.
the conversation is what's needed, and we don't allow for the conversation of a human conversation. We have label conversations 100%, and that's why I was like, make it clear on where it goes, and don't apologize for what you say, because that's part of, we are defining the narrative within ourselves and who we are and what we want to say. And one of the things I say, this podcast took me 4 years to make. The reason is because I didn't have my narrative defined. I didn't have it defined, structured in who I am or what I believe. That you cannot shake that. You cannot shake the core of my faith. You cannot shake the core of my structure. You cannot shake the core of my belief in who I am as a human being. You can shake my identity. You can 100% shake my identity, because my identity is wrapped up in the social construct of what this world has decided I should be.
And open to learn.
Right, but I'm open to, and that's where I need to be open to learn. That's where I need to be able to have that responsive understanding of you and who you are and your identity. That's the part where we're just fighting consistently on, just because that's the part that makes us unique and different, our identities. And
I do want to add, just for everyone that listens to this podcast later on, I said my apologies, because we're living in a social construct where it's a little more ambiguous now. I do want to tell to that people, although I don't agree with you guys every time I make films, although if it's a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. The message is unisex. It's for anybody.
It's for human.
And it's something that you can apply to your own self so that you can get better a better
perspective on life, and better outcome and outlook on life.
There you go. You can get a better outcome out of your situations, regardless of how you identify as or who you are.
Yeah, your identity doesn't have anything to do with the message if it hits you, and the message hits you, and the words and the narrative of that piece of content or a piece of work or even the human being hits you, your identity doesn't have anything to do with that, with them. It has to do with you and you figuring that out and ensuring that you figure out what that means for you. And if that contradicts what you stand for, who you are, then ask the clarifying questions of why and how and when and where. And the what, really, just so that you can have this conversation at a level that's so much deeper. And again, we're so taught on our 10-second scrolls, and this is something that we're, even our reels. So thank you for watching my reels. Thank you for sharing them. Thank you for all the messages, right? I appreciate it. But when we talk about really educating yourself and getting into a conversation with someone, the time, I just had a conversation with a dear friend of mine yesterday, but the time that we have 24 hours in a day. I equate time and money. Money is time. If that's the equivalency, then time, 24 hours is equal to $24. And if I'm going to spend my time and my money, I'm going to make sure that the $24 that don't roll over the next day, that don't roll over at the end of the year, that I don't get to accrue interest on, that I don't get to, I got $24 to live off of, to survive off of, to function off of. And so we don't think about our time that way. And that's exactly what our time is. I've got 24 hours to live off of, to function off of, to survive off of, to create something off of, to be of use and of service of. How am I spending that? And the message I got from my dear friend Kim yesterday was the best $3 of my $24 day I spent, because we spent 3 hours of a conversation and just really figuring some things out. That's actually pretty smart.
Well, everybody used hours of the day as currency and be like, okay, you're not worth my change.
No, but we don't have it to spare. But that's the point is, right? We're so quick to spend the money, spend our $5 here, spend our $5 here, spend our $5 here, and then we complain we don't have money. But we're constantly complaining we don't have time. And what has the whole society and world taught me is time is money, money is time. All the time, absolutely. But you know what? Who the creator of that is? Me, the human being. You don't own my time and you don't own the value of my time. And so when I get to own that power and say, well, fine, 24 hours, if we're going to equal $1 to $1, a penny to a penny, well, damn, I'm just shortchanging myself every single day and literally throwing away my dollars, literally out of my time and throwing them away on things, people, decisions, thoughts, feelings, whatever that literally do no benefit to me as a being, have no growth potential for me and my 40 inches. And my 40 inches is my home, my husband, my son. Like, that's it. My 6 feet, it has no benefit to my 6 feet, right? It has no benefit to anything that I do. So I'm going to take my hours of that and sit in my house and just, like, you know, those pens that they do and just throw. Like, I'm just going to do that. Are you kidding me? You out your mind. But that is what society teaches us.
Just to add to what you just said, because everything you said is basically in a summary in this short film that I said, the first date. Why it's called the first date? Because you only need one date to know if you really want to keep spending more time with this person. You don't need to stay in a place where you feel uneasy, where you feel that you may not be able to completely open. I do like to say that this is a romantic comedy because they have a great time, but at the end, they don't work out. And he says, I really appreciate the time and everything, but we will not be having a second date.
Because you're not worth the time.
And she's like, oh, like it caught her a little bit by surprise because they had such an amazing date and all the topics were really fluid. They just spoke and they were open to know each other. But apparently there was something that he saw in the conversation. He didn't make it known in the moment because he wanted to keep talking and learning more. Well, and at the end, he brought it up like, okay, I feel like we're not the best match.
No, I think, but also what I think about that is... I was going to say, that's literally the point of two different perspectives in same time and place of existence, experiencing something in life that is literally like you and I are right now. And one can take away that it's not good for them while the other just had the time of their life. And right. You cannot be mad at the human, even though that is what our initial reaction is, which I love that you pointed that out because it really showcases that different. I mean, can you send me that? I'm sure it's on presssplayhere.com to watch it. So I'll go on there and watch it. But because I'm really intrigued, because that right there, that shows the difference of perspective and giving the power to the man to be able to say, you know what, these are not the qualities, whatever that might be in there. And that it also means that you don't have to voice exactly the reasons of why you are doing what you're doing for yourself, that boundary that you've created.
Another thing, I did that on purpose because people are telling me, well, women are a little more outspoken. Means like, yeah, but men should be outspoken when they should. For example, if some man was able to shut down the desires of their flesh and actually speak from their soul, they will be able to not lead on another lady just because she's cute. Well, I don't like what she does for work. I don't like what she does in this. That's a nice butt. Like, we don't have to do that. We don't. You can find a lady with a nice butt that actually does what you like that your lady does, you know. But patience, discernment. And what's funny about the film is that I wanted the man to be the one to take that initiative because I see that men lack that. So I felt like if other men saw another man taking that initiative, they would be like, you know what? That's something that I should be doing as well. That way these ladies don't call me.
And maybe it'll humble. Well, not even that. And maybe it'll humble, and this is me playing devil's advocate, maybe it'll humble some of us ladies who think that we are to just be expected to be received for what we are just because we are females with a vagina. And I said it. That is the part where, again, the power lies for the female side of stuff. And we just think that just because we are that is the value. And it's like, that literally is a label of you as a human being. Another label, another part of a product piece that you get to be sold off of as, instead of being looked at as a commodity of value and worth as your existence, right?
How beautiful is to know that the person that's with you loves you for who you are and not because of how you look like, you know? And not just that, it speaks in volumes. You just said something very important. You said something about women being humbled. I didn't really want it to put that so that women would be humbled, but it does work that way too. Cool. Because at the end of the film, when she leaves, she's like, okay, whatever. And while she's driving, she calls somebody else. Somebody else calls her and she's like, yeah, you know what? My evening just became available. Do you want to go on that date? And people was like surprised at the end. The ones that got to the end, they were like, oh, I didn't expect that. I thought they had a good date. And he's like, yeah, they had an amazing date. That's the point. You can have a great time and still not look eye to eye with somebody.
Exactly.
Like,
It's all about the perspective of but that's the part of what we don't understand about when we talk about the individuality. We think about it's all about identity, like as far as what you're put on versus the experience of your life and what that makes you feel and how you process that and how you use that to better. Again, we always talk about betterment of the self. Listen, one of the three things I'm grateful for every day is my breath, my structure, and the chance and the ability to actually better myself on a daily basis. I've learned that grace goes a long way, just to be graceful to yourself as a human. You are here to make mistakes. You are here to literally screw everything up because that's what we're here to do. Like, now we know that. Let's accept it and let's actually make the changes that are set forth with our behaviors, right?
Let's use this as an opportunity to make
Right.
a better for ourselves.
Right. And again, the details and the why don't matter. Like you talked about, you've gone through so much in your life. I've gone through so much in life. Like, none of my details matter because those details are happening every single day. At every single second of our life, somebody's detail is happening to someone else. Somebody's why is happening to someone else. So if we know that's the fact, we cannot keep up with the details. We cannot keep up with the whys. We cannot keep up with the action. So what we need to do is look at the behavior, the actions, and hold those things accountable and responsible. And we cannot do that until we look at ourselves and hold ourselves accountable and responsible. And I think that art has the utmost way of being able to show you that mirror, show you that reflective, and open these conversations for yourself that allow you to literally ground yourself in this going, my structure is not what I said it is, what I have portrayed it to be. And when someone looks at it, I need to be I'm only accountable for my own home, not for anybody else's. So if anybody comes into this home, again, that's open season, but we should be able to create a space where nobody has to go to anybody's home. Nobody has to be invalidating anybody's spaces, places, and devaluing anybody's humanity. Why we are where we are because we have devalued humanity. And devaluing humanity isn't me devaluing humanity in Rose. It's me devaluing the humanity in myself because that's all I've been taught. So if all I know is how to devalue myself, I will always consistently and continuously devalue those around me. When I learn how to value myself, again, I will value the time, the 24 hours I have, the $24 I have, because I also know that that other human being only has that. That's it. That's the one true fact. And once it's gone, it's gone. Once their 24 hours is up or $24 is up, it's gone. Whether they get it back, get it the next day or not, that's a luck of the draw. Like the fact that we can wake up the next day, every single day and breathe and that's a luck of the draw. So if we can change the perspective and look at it that every single one of us is in that, it allows us to show more compassion, more empathy, and push us through to, again, create these beautiful projects, create companies, create things and movements that actually make change and not create more diversity. Unity is needed. We need to unite in a way that
That's right.
it needs to unite the heart, not necessarily the mind, because the mind
That
right
being said,
now.
I have two things to say. The second one, not to change the topic, but there was a question you made me and I forgot to answer. The first one is, I don't want to turn religious or anything, but the term of sin, people don't understand what sin means. Sin means going against yourself.
Yes.
And people, when you understand what sinning means, which is going against yourself, it will blow your mind because you're like, wait a minute. I remember when I wanted to do this and I had this little voice inside of me telling me that's not safe, don't do it. It's like, go, and you still did it. You went against yourself. Even something that's not even looked as a sin can be a sin because you corrupted yourself. You ignored your spirit, your own self, what that inner voice was trying to save you from or was trying to walk you through. You dismissed it.
Mm-hmm.
That is that term of sin that people be like, no, that's religious. No, it's actually behavioral and psychology. Like
It's a
it's a lot
consequence of your
of
action.
yourself. Exactly. And I don't, it's a big debate
But
when I
here's my
get to
thing.
that
I will
topic
just
with
say
people.
this again. I could go on hours with this topic on that, but the correlation between your faith, okay? And between actual science is really, really there. We're just not willing to unite it. We're willing to
They're like
separate it.
this.
It
They're
is.
like
And
this.
that's the part,
People
but
feel
that's
that
the
religion
part
and
of
science are
division.
separate. No,
No,
they're all together.
it's
Everything is
it's
connected.
it's absolutely the truth. And right now, again, because we're in such a state of division, we cannot see the connections where anything goes, and why science literally is like the science and faith have gone hand in hand for millennia in just
Since the
educating
beginning of
ourselves,
time.
right? And so there's no, but that's the part, and again, not to get all that, but that's science is the part of our free will, the free will to explore, the freedom to choose. Like, that is our choice, that is what was given to us by God and our
Oh, and
creator. And
another thing, when I say religion, I'm not talking about Christianity, Islam, Jewish. I'm not talking about, and I'm talking about the religion of the connection that you have with your own spirit.
mm-hmm,
That part. I'm not
mm-hmm,
talking about this or that. Let me just put that out there. I don't really incline to any religion.
mm-hmm.
I have a personal connection and I have a personal relationship with my creator. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much it. I do learn on other religions because these are part of
But that's
human
different
history.
narratives that we should be learning. And what I've learned, this is, and I hope you guys can understand, and I hope you, for those of you listening and watching, and just really, and for those of you in the comments, again, don't take offense into any shape or form, or get,
Yeah,
or if
please,
you
nothing
are,
is personal.
or if
This
you
is
are,
all
please,
knowledge for different purposes.
well, not even just that, but if you are, in any shape or form taking this, and that you seem to think that I'm misunderstanding or misspeaking in some shape or form, and that this is not the topic I should be on, you're right, we should, but none of us should be, because none of us are experts in any of these topics. What we are experts is in our own existence, and that's the one topic you should be studying. That's the one
And
focus of the area.
The second thing I wanted to say that I don't want to change the topic is just you asked me this question. I totally forgot about it. You did ask me what was the difference in the impact of press play cinema in Florida and in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
In Florida, I don't think it was such as big because it was starting. It was starting, and it was a lot of ignorance. People didn't know what it stands for, what it does. By the time I moved to Michigan, it was already a complete project. It was already finished.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went there and I introduced it, people was more able to understand and see,
You
and that's
redefined your
more.
narrative and defined it, the structure of,
So
again, it
it's not
goes.
really anything personal on the Florida people. It's just I started there and they saw me starting, and we are indoctrinated into consuming. So if I'm not a big company, there may not be a lot of benefits that you may get from my company. And
Right.
that's possibly how I saw that they were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm over here with a finished product, people are like, oh, I actually like what you're doing. The movement is great. Ta-da-da-da. And I'm pretty sure it would be exactly the same if I go back to Jacksonville with the finished
Mm-hmm.
project. So
But
I
that's
don't really
in
take
any,
offense. I don't
it's,
think it was their
yeah.
fault. No.
No, no,
I really
no.
think it's more like an awareness issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, it goes back into the self, and that whole conversation about being responsible and accountable for yourself, because at the end of the day, there's no one we can blame for the things that did not work out on our end. But the self, because it requires acting and responding to create an actual consequence of something, and that consequence is good or bad, and how you view it, how you perceive it, is 100% honest and authentic to your experience of life. But that doesn't mean it is to the other side of somebody in the same position. And that,
Right.
having that grace, so just having these open conversations, because as I've seen the Jacksonville community grow in support and grow in, and really has grown in a lot of different support, but the division is still there in quite a bit of the places, and I'm always honest about it. The quality of work has gone up tremendously. The ability to come together has the ease of coming together is in progress a lot more. But again, as someone who goes into support things and into all that, to feel, again, but those are my feelings, I have to discern of why I feel the way I feel, why I feel out of place, why this is this way, or why I don't get the reaction that I should or that I give, which is whatever that might be in my way. Those are when we talk about evaluation and being focused on yourself, those are the honest, true conversations you should have with yourself to ask. and not project onto anyone else, but really have that with yourself. And you
Right.
don't have it. Part of what, again, what Project Human does and what we do is the ability to help you process that. But this is what also with the artists within in these long form conversations allow human beings to process and for us to see different perspectives, for us to learn from different communities, and to also encourage us to be more encouraging, right? One of the things that I know I have, they say, do as you want others to do to you, right? Like that's the saying, do, right?
Right.
And unless you support it, unless you give the voice of what you're seeking, you don't get it. It doesn't come to you. So if we're always seeking the voice of negativity and always seeking the voice of what's not good and finding always the fault at things, we're always going to get the negative back because karma is a bitch. So what you want to do is put the good karma out, and like no matter how you may feel, work through the feeling to provide the truest authentic intention of being there for the support. It's not about you. It is nothing to do with you. And learning that you are not the center of attention, learning that the world does not revolve around you.
Bigger than that.
It makes
that being said, I do want to give a little shout out to Adam Madrid. Adam, you've been amazing. Thank you for your support. Thank you for integrating Press Play Cinema into that 48-hour projects. Film festival. That was amazing. And I'm really grateful that you found the time to sit down with me and actually understand what I was trying to do. That was really sweet. That was very compassionate of you to action. And it shows initiative. Like there's people that still really care about inspiring others. So thank you, Adam and Monique. You guys are amazing. And
check out our LOL film festivals. Yes, they're literally and they've been a support, and they're an amazing structure of support. So for those of you who don't know them and haven't gotten the opportunity or have had an experience that you may not like with them, you need to go ahead and reevaluate the experience, because
I really think
and I say that
find out something, they gotta go and communicate with them, because they are not malicious people.
They are the most genuine human beings that I have encountered in this industry, of really who care about the film and care about the community in this, especially in Jacksonville, and what they want to make it. And so with that, let's lead us off into the end, which this has been an amazing podcast, by the way. We've really had such a great conversation.
I love talking to you, you know how this is.
I love that we had
great times. We can be here for the whole week if we
this
want.
Is why I only had to limit it to the time that we did, because I could be here for hours and they cannot afford me, or I cannot afford them. Okay, so if you're looking to sponsor the podcast, please tune in and sponsor the Artists Within. We are taking sponsorship applications. We're fantastic. We're a great message, and we inspire and motivate human beings into action. So look us up. Anyway, that was my little spot in there. So while we're into that, let's add into what is coming up for you. Tell me about the festival. Tell me where people can find it, what they should be doing, and how we from here can also support you and support what you're doing up there. Take it away with that.
Listen, just for starters, you already doing it. You're spreading the awareness, you're spreading the message. So that's one of the things that you guys could do. You're already doing it. So thank you so much for that. The film festival is in October 17th at Lansing, in the Celebration Cinema of Lansing and IMAX Theater. It's going to be the first in-person film festival. We have over 55 submissions worldwide so far. But I do really want to get more student films, the student that actually there to inspire. Right here where I am in Lansing, there's MSU, the Michigan State University. And Michigan State University has MSU film students. And most of these students, every time they gotta leave, they graduate, they gotta go to another state to find jobs. So I feel like this initiative would open the doors for jobs to come in, so that they don't gotta move to other states. They can just start here and then later on move if they want to. But they can also find jobs in their home if they don't want to leave. That's one of the things that would benefit to the community over here in Lansing. But that is our first in-person festival. We're gonna be bringing some little trinkets for all people that will be assisting. There's already this film made by I don't remember the name, but two of the people that are there were in Miss Little Sunshine. Is it Miss Sunshine, Miss Little Sunshine, the girl with the dress? And
Okay.
well, two of the actors that were there are in one of these short film that is a psychological thriller that wow. So far this one it's big just because of the message was really complicated. It was sorrowful and it was so important for people to
Mm.
understand that grief is love that doesn't know where to go.
Mm.
Um,
I like
and that
that.
being said, my next thing other than the film festival, I started this podcast called Movie Talk with Press Play Cinema. We just finished the first season. We'll continue with the season number two, maybe in the start of the next year. I did wanted to do that to be able to expand the knowledge on filmmakers that don't have the resources to get classes or go to school and stuff like that. Well, don't worry about it. There's a platform where you can come and listen to other artists in your field telling you how to make it in the best way possible, or just how did they made it so that you can find your own style and how to make it your way there. That being said, another thing that I got going on is a short film about men's mental health, and it's going to be mostly about how men are looked upon when it comes to opening up. They are expected to keep it all in and be strong and be the man and whatnot. It's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to feel guilt. It's okay to feel failure, although it may feel so bad. It's human.
Right.
What are you going to do after that is what sets you up for failure or success. So I do want men to be able to see that venting, looking for therapy, and actually break down your own personality so that you can be a better asset to society is actually something that you guys can do and take power of your own selves by doing that. I think it's lacking a lot in this world how some men treat the world, how they treat themselves, how they treat ladies or other people in general. And I feel, to my understanding, a lot of men have lost their way. So I feel that most of that losing their way has a lot to do with all the wars they have to fight inside their minds and nobody to look to rely on.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that's something that we talk about more. So I'm gonna make a short film
I
about it
love
so
it.
that you know.
Awesome.
So
All
that
right.
one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. So
Awesome. Where
far
can
I
they
did so.
find? So give us off our where they can find everything. Give us your website and your social media handles, and leave us off with a powerful message for our community.
Perfect. Okay, you guys can find us at www.pressplayhere.com. Right there, if you scroll down, you're gonna see Press Play Film Festival, and there's gonna be a button for Film Freeway. That's where you can submit your films if you're interested in participating. Just for this podcast, just for this one in specific, there is a code you can use. Press Play with us for free submissions. So take
Ooh.
advantage of that. And then under the Film Freeway button, there is the Eventive button, which is the where you will be redirected to the event so that you can purchase your tickets and reserve your seat. And that's
Perfect.
pretty much it. Where you can find us in social media, you can find in Instagram, pressplay.cinema, in TikTok, pressplay cinema, in Twitter, pressplay C, and in Facebook, Press Play Cinema. That's pretty much it. You can find me in Facebook. I'm mostly more in Facebook because all of the advertising and the ads and the sharing and the stuff. So Facebook is my place. Um, Rose Sanchez. If you, I'm not sure if you can find me that way. There's people that have tried to, and but I suggest you just put Rose Sanchez / actors page. Find me real quick right there. And that's pretty much it. Other social medias, I would give it to you guys,
You could
but
just
I
message
enjoy
me.
my free speech.
Oh, I love it. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Well, listen, like I said, I
You the other ones,
exercise.
but I love my free speech
That's
very
I
much.
exercise my right and my free speech and in my free creation. So yes, all right. Well, that's a good power of messages. She likes her free speech. So all right. So leave our community off with a powerful message, and then we'll be signing off.
Of course, guys, is the slogan of our company. I just can't say it in any other way because doesn't matter what you do, at the end of the day, that's the final message. We want to dare to inspire. So please be a blessing by daring to inspire others in the right ways. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm saying the right ways, like, hey, how beautiful is to open the door and say, and somebody says, thank
Through
you, instead of
action.
just walking by. Like, let's be better as a society for one another and dare to inspire. That's pretty much it.
I love it. Rose, it has been such a pleasure. I have enjoyed this conversation, and I cannot wait to have you back on for us to talk even more about upcoming projects as you move forward. And you'll be definitely back on to tell me all about the film festival, so look out for that, you guys, at the end of the year. But definitely thank you so much. For everybody who's been listening, you can find us in all your favorite podcast places, Apple, Google, and all the other, Spotify, the whole 9 yards. You'll also be able to watch this on our YouTube channel, so please follow that at YouTube/Project Human Think, or just search for Project Human. You'll find us in there as well. The Artist Within is going to be live and is live now, so listen. I appreciate your support. Follow, like, and do all the other good stuff. And until the next time, my friends, we will see you later.